Namaste everyone. I'm really honored and very happy to begin this festival with all of you. I believe this is a historical moment for all of us. In India, it has all begun, this topic of remembering how to be nourished by Source. In ancient times, thousands and thousands of years ago, when we were in a more evolved civilization, we all knew that we were connected, and we all knew how it feels and how it is to be one with the one that is breathing us, to be one with the source that is streaming energy through ourselves. Back then, all of us on this planet, we knew and had the feeling of always being whole, of always being complete, of always being nourished. And therefore, in that timeline, in that time frame, we all felt always full. We never needed external resources to feel fulfilled. And that was called and is called PRANIC consciousness. And the feeling of being nourished without needing external sources like food or water or love from other people even, that feeling was called pranic nourishment, or the ability of being nourished by prana, chi, energy, source. Back then, we all had this memory, this knowledge, this ability. And that was thousands of years ago. How many of you remember? Well, we'll remember all after this gathering. And years have gone by. Humanity has changed. We have evolved into a new way of understanding this world. And in that new way of understanding this world, we wanted to feel how it is to play in the illusion of being an individuality, of being a separate entity. We wanted to see how it feels to play that video game of having a personality and of having what we call free will. I call it the ability of feeling disconnected. That thing that you call free will. Because in reality, free will is the feature of separating yourself from divine will or divine flow and choosing from your own mind, which is in fact separating you from source and your source knowledge. But it's a game, and we did it for thousands of years, just to see how it feels. And it hasn't been wrong, and it hasn't been right either. It has just been a game. But then again, when we played it enough, this game, some 5,000 years ago maybe, some very, very powerful sages came again on earth to remind us that we are coming from an advanced species, an advanced civilization, where we had autonomy, where we had infinite power, infinite connection, infinite resources within ourselves. And these masters have come in many places of the world. Some have come here in India, some of the main ones, like Krishna and Buddha, and the Rama before them. They brought us reminders of what it was to be connected, to be one with Source, to be in tune with that nourishment, with that overflowing ability. Then others have come in China, and they thought about the same, only they did not call it prana, they called it figu in China. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
Others have come in Japan. They were worshipping the goddess of sun, Amaterasu. And they knew the same, that we're all connected and that we're nourished by Source. Others have come in Romania, my land, or the land I'm living in now, actually, it's not mine. And they come there, and they were immortals. They were living for extended hundreds of thousands of years at will. And they knew how it feels to be nourished and supported by Source. And they taught others. They were taking disciples in the mountains, and they were teaching them how to remember this pranic nourishment. One of them in my country is called Zalmoxis. It was trained by gods and goddesses and underworld people, and he was a very good teacher for those of us who wanted to remember Source feeding, Source nourishment, Source harmony. And so, in many, many other areas on this planet, they were coming to remind us. 6,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. The ones that came 2,000 years ago, they weren't so well treated, actually. Some of them were crucified. Some of them were burned on stake. Humanity was not ready, was not willing to receive at that moment this knowledge. So it was like, okay, come back later. We're not willing to take this on now. So they just came here briefly for about 30 years maybe, and then they were shut off, and it was like planting a seed and then letting humanity catch up with it in their own way, in their own time. Like the Christed One and others. Yes. And many of us have been in those times, in those lands, either as disciples or masters. I will request the ones who are outside to speak lower, just to have good audition. Yeah. We were disciples or masters in those times. So that's why now we're again feeling called to come back to that knowledge, to come back to that way of being, to come back to that inner power. Do you all hear me well?
A little bit more.
A little bit louder? You need louder? Okay. Well,
It's coming.
yes. I don't know how to do that. Magic. Okay. So those of you who were drawn here, and for now there's not many, more will come in the days to come, maybe towards the weekend. Yeah, that's better. Perfect, yeah. Thank you. Those of you who are called to come here are here to set this frequency back into this land, to reseed it back home. So that was the whole intention with this gathering, with this festival, to bring back that memory, that knowledge, and that power to the people in the land where it started, and of course to all those who are ready for it. My name is CRISTIANA Eltrayan. I've been in this practice for more than 10 years. I've learned of pranic nourishment when I was about 27, 28. I met a master, a teacher who knew about this and was teaching about this. It sounded natural to me that this is possible. I have many incarnations in this way of being, in many star lines, in many civilizations. And when I first heard of it in this lifetime, it sounded very natural for me. But I didn't ever intend to practice any spiritual technique for the purpose of stopping physical nourishment and being just source nourished. I did all my practices, and there were many, just to reconnect back into that state of balance. I could say I'm still working at it, as we all are, but it's much better than 10 years ago, I could say. 10 years ago, I was doing this manager job of event organizing. I was working 16 hours a day. I had forgotten all my meditation and spiritual practices and vegetarian diet that I had as a kid. And I did many human roles that I thought it means being successful. Until my health and my general balance started to not get so good. And I had to come back to meditation. I had to come back to lighter diet, and I had to come back to what I'm doing now. Because that was my path, you know. And whenever you're off your path, your body starts to react. Have you felt that? That whenever you're going astray, too left or too right from the main way, your body starts to kick back and tell you, you're not there yet. Just get back, you know, get back in the center. The body is a good instrument to have knowledge of what's going on and when you are. And in many traditions, including the Hindu tradition, body has been considered an instrument, something to overcome, something to discard. I'll only be enlightened when I leave my body and stuff. This is not true. The body is a device, it is a costume, but it's also a very good starship through which you can experience certain aspects of realities that are not possible in other realms. In the astral realm, you cannot feel this. You feel stuff, but you feel it differently. So the physical body is a very good instrument for evolution, for the evolution of your spirit. You get so much experience and knowledge and wisdom by utilizing your body well. So in that respect, body is something to be cherished and honored and treated as precious, and you can evolve through it into a very high mastery, actually. And that's called the art of Tantra, and that's called the art of meditation. And we'll talk about it more, especially the Tantra in the last day. But I'm just wanting to get into that body love idea, just to remind you of how great this incarnation is, of how great this system is, of how purely refined it can be for you and how high it can take you if you treat it wisely. So that's why we created this gathering. We wanted to bring back this memory, this remembering to people, and to help humanity evolve into the next stage that is, I would say, compulsory for most of us. It's just a natural step in human evolution to get into that state. We have the option to discard it, but for those who discard it, it's not really easy because the flow goes in that direction now. So what I did along my path is I started to practice to be in that alignment, to be in that higher state of consciousness. So I was doing hours and hours of meditation a day, and yoga and qigong, and other techniques, breathing techniques and mantras that I knew were helping me raise my frequency. And I left my job, I left my other practices, and I focused fully on my spiritual journey, giving lectures, writing books, and eventually organizing only PRANIC festivals, not other events. And this is the 4th edition of a PRANIC festival. The rest of them, I only did them in Romania, the country I live in. I have participated to hundreds of other PRANIC gatherings around the world, so I've met most of the people that are on this path, especially the teachers. And when I was guided to do my first festival, I was surprised because I never planned it, but I felt it's part of my evolution as well as the evolution of the whole humanity. And it's one of my jobs here. And after the 3rd edition of the festival in Romania, I was invited to come to the Global Congress for Spiritual Scientists here, where Jasmine is president, as you know. And being there and working in the pyramid, I felt that one of the next festivals is going to be here. I said, okay. And I was guided to organize it. That was 2 years ago. And I said, okay, that's going to be interesting. And I wonder when that will happen. And 2 years went by, and this November, last November, we were having a PRANIC retreat in Romania, a Babaji state retreat, where we invoke and meditate with the energy of Babaji. And we were leading the retreat with Victor Truviano, if you know him. And during the retreat, I got the exact date and all the details of how and when to do the festival here. There was a guidance from Babaji. And March was very close. It was the beginning of December, and March was 4 months from then. And I was like, in such short notice, and I had trips and retreats and journeys around the world planned for the whole time until now. I was like almost in shock. How am I going to do it? You know, it's so short notice. I'm so busy. And he was like, no, you can do it. You'll do it. Just get to it. And don't hesitate. Don't go left and right. Just start and organize it. And so I contacted the Pyramid Valley. I contacted everyone, the speakers and so on. But it didn't come into fruition and into, landing this event until January, when I came back from Thailand from another retreat. It's only then that the people started to respond and the speakers started to confirm and all this. It was very, very interesting for me how it went. And as you see, even now, there's not that many people coming because that was all in parallel with this worldwide craze that is now happening. You know, the feelings of fear that are generated by media regarding death and viruses and illness, that if you look at it truly, and I want to speak about this, it's all a fabricated energy. It's all made up. It's all a human creation made for humans to scare us once more, to disempower us once more. Because in reality, and I was just telling that to a doctor recently, you will only exit this incarnation when it's your time. Nothing will happen sooner, nothing will happen unprogrammed, nothing will happen by mistake. So you don't have to stay at home and preserve yourself from traveling. Because if you're meant to exit this incarnation, somebody will come to your door to give you whatever it is to give for you to exit. So there's no need to fear, that's what I mean. There's no need to self-preservation and refraining from doing what your heart calls you to do for fear that maybe you'll get ill or maybe you'll die. You'll die when your time is coming. And it's not going to be a bad thing, even. It's just a transition to another form of existence. So since this whole craze started, I've been traveling to 5 or 6 countries already since January. And I'm still alive and kicking, and I feel I'm going to be so for a long time. I had the opportunity to actually exit the planet on December, so that's already gone. And so it would be many of us if that wouldn't be in the field right now. But because many people have feared to travel to here, we're doing also live streamings and we're giving people the possibility to join online. So if you have at home people that wanted to come, or your relatives or friends or husbands and partners, just tell them that they can join online and watch alongside with you so that they can be with us. Because we're not letting any virus or fear-based reality stop us from generating this now. That was another thing to say. So yeah, so we started organizing and here we are, and it's a new era coming into India and into humanity. This is the first festival in the world for 2020. There will be many in the world. One of them is following in June in Italy. Another is in August in Romania that we also organize, and you're invited to join us there, of course. Romania and the place we're organizing the festival is just fabulous. And the energy and everything there is so supportive of pranic reality. That's why we started there. And after August, maybe in October or so, we might have one in Hawaii, but we're still looking at it. So it's just the beginning of a great year that is to come for pranic nourishment and pranic reality. How many of you are here because you're interested in being nourished by prana? Or you are already nourished by prana? Yes, yes, yes. And how many of you are here just out of curiosity? Like, what is this girl doing there? And how many of you are here because you believe this is a total hoax and you want to just prove it wrong or be convinced that this is impossible? Okay, so it's good we're all on the same page, more or less. Sometimes there are people in the gatherings that I'm joining that are sitting there and waiting for you to just say something that validates their feelings that this can be even close to reality. And they just sit and wait, and eventually, at the end of it, most of them change their minds and some don't, and that's all fine with us. Yeah, so this is how this festival came into being. I'm going to present some of the speakers to you. Some are here, some are not yet. Most of you have already read the presentations of the website or the files we gave you. You had the chance to look at the speakers a little bit and see who they are? Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you a brief story about each one of them. They're all my very close friends and my very cherished people in this world. They're the people I love the most after my close family. So I've only had in this festival the people that I've worked with in a long time, for eons of time actually, not just this lifetime, and the people that I trust most. Many people have wanted to join as speakers, yet because it was not yet a frequency alignment or I was not knowing them personally and so and so, we're just here, the ones who are here. Because when we're beginning to set such a frequency in such a place, we want to have with us the people that are really and truly and fully supporting such a reality. So not the ones that are looking for fame, not the ones that are looking for more adults, not the ones that are looking for celebrity or to make a buck or two extra. That's not what we're looking for. That's how to explain maybe that some of the people you are expecting are not yet coming. Okay, so and by the end, until I finish, I will also tell you one or two things of the logistics, yes, of how we're organized here, how we can do things to make it better for everyone, and how we can collaborate with each other. So if I forget to mention that, just ask, about the rooms, about the food, if you need any and stuff like this. in case I get too much caught into presenting the prana. So I would ask just the speakers that are present and the volunteer that is here, 1 or 2 volunteers I think we have, to come forth just to be presented, please. And then I will present the online speakers, and some of the speakers that are not here are going to come in the days to come. So please, Gabriel and Pascal and Sarah and Santosh, come forth. S'il vous plaît, venez-vous. Thank you. No, I was just wanting to have you here on camera, please. Don't be shy, you'll be speaking anyway. So this is my friend Pascal Martelli. You'll be seeing him tonight with his first talk. He's been on prana for many years, just liquids. He knows better how many. I never keep track of time, but he'll explain you tonight. He's one of my best guardian angels. He's a very kind heart. He's been with us in most of the festivals and all the way through our trips. And he's a very powerful healer. And you'll find out more about him by yourselves. But he's not only a healer, also a scientist. He studied physics, yes? And neuroscience also. So he has a lot of knowledge in the scientific background also. And you can ask him questions about that as well. Yes. If you want to add anything, I will just pass this on.
So thank you for this nice introduction. I'm really grateful to be here. Actually, if I'm physically here, I've been here for already the last 2 weeks. So I was traveling somewhere else, but every day I was somehow gathering with you guys, and there is a lot of energy going on. It seems to me that nowadays this is really the time of the gatherings. This is to create synergy. And if the people are having the same intent, gathering at the same time, they can really manifest much more. So if we're just looking back in the history of mankind, a lot of people, they have been working on their own, but now this is different. This is the time to hold hands and move forward. So I'm really happy to be here for that. Thank you. Thank you, CRISTIANA.
Thank you so much. I pass it on to So here's Gabriel Lespoy. Am I pronouncing correctly?
Right.
He's been an old-time friend, and we've met in several festivals. It's the first time he's participating to one of our organized gatherings, but we've worked together online and we did the interviews, and I fully trust his ability as a healer and as a pranic person. He has very interesting capacities that he's going to tell us about in his conferences in the next few days. And I'm very grateful that he has made it all the way through here, because I think it's been a long journey, yes? So if you want to add anything, just I'm going to pass it on to you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you to be there. I will introduce myself from tomorrow. Many things to say, and you know already everything. So mainly you just need to hear and just to be there. The presence is the secret. I will tell you everything tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And we have 2 angels volunteers here, Sarah and Santosh, who are helping us with the logistics and everything. They have offered to participate. And also Dr. Lakshmi, I'm tempted to say Miss Lakshmi, but it's Dr. Lakshmi there on camera, that she's with us to be able to record this whole thing. And if you want, you can come forward. I don't know if you can, but it's just good to have you here. And I wanted to just say to all of you that I'm really grateful for your help and really honored by your presence here. And all of the people who have offered to help with this gathering are very long-time meditators and people who are really tuned into this reality one way or another. And so I just want to bless them all for offering their help. More helpers, I'm just going to try to put this on. More helpers are going to be coming in the days to come. We have 3, I guess, more speakers coming. So the ones you saw on the list that are going live are Eltrayan. He was supposed to be here tonight. He's been more than 10 years on just liquids, and he's a very high frequency person. He's been doing many retreats and conferences in India in the past few years. We've actually been traveling in 2018 all the way through India. We had conferences in Mumbai and in Jaipur, I think, and we had a beautiful trip to Ellora that I'm going to tell you about. And he was supposed to arrive tonight, but because he's living off the grid most of the time, so out in nature with sometimes no phone and no connection to civilized world, I might say, his flight got shifted to the next day, so he's going to be arriving on 5th or 6th, I believe. He just announced me last night about this, but you're going to meet him and you're going to love him for sure. He's like a child spirit in a very mature and frisky body. And the other one who is coming live also in the next few days on the 5th is a very, very cherished, yogi and the master who's called Presentaion. You might heard of him in the movie. In the beginning, it was live. His description is on the first page. The peculiarity with this, yes, I'm going to put this on immediately. Sorry for the noise. I'm still not used with this type of mic, but I'm getting trained to use it. I just can't wear it on my head though. The peculiarity with this guru, I would call him, the way you call him here in India, is that for 75 years, he hasn't taken any food or water at all. So we're in a festival where we're talking about people who are nourished by light or prana or chi. So it's natural that we have people who are not taking food or water because that's what we're doing here. And what happened is that when he was 7, he had 3 goddesses coming to him, and they just blessed him, and by divine grace, he got this ability of not being hungry. And since then, he hasn't been needing to take any food or water, and he has been nourished in a different way. In 2010 and 2014, if I remember correctly, he was tested in hospitals with all type of scans, all type of non-invasive checkups, and with security also to be sure that he's not eating or drinking, in some other way. And for 14 days and then 10 days, he's shown great results in his body and great health and normal parameters of all his body functions without having any food or water. And even more interesting than this, he was forming urine in his bladder out of nothing, out of chi, yes, which is not nothing, is energy. And then it was reabsorbed back into the pranic shape, into the pranic state. So something in his body was becoming material and then becoming immaterial again, and then becoming material and becoming immaterial again. That's an interesting ability. We have that ability in Tantra, actually, and we're going to talk about it the next few days, but I'm not going to get into that now. I'm just inviting you to reflect on that. So it's going to be here on the 5th or the 6th of February. Please put up your phones. And he's going to share his, yes, thank you. I'm still in the no time zone most of the time. So I'm going to be saying weird hours and weird months to you. So just correct me when I go astray. Yeah? Because in this reality where we're right now, time doesn't really exist. It's a paradigm or a parameter that is specific to the third density, I would call it, because physicians will scold me if I say dimension. Yes. Third density is where time and distances and everything exist, and the matter as we know it as dense. Then as we go to the fourth density, what we call dimension, yes, same things change a little bit. Time is no longer so present, time is no longer such a pressure, and reality starts to shift very quickly. Is that field of knowledge where you manifest things more rapidly, sometimes instantly, where you feel less hungry, where you're mostly in the alpha state of mind, if you know the brainwave states, and where you're thinking of somebody and he calls you right away because telepathy really works. And that's the fourth density. And the fifth density that we're moving into now, most of us, and especially with the pranic nourishment, and that's what we came to bring actually into the world and stabilize as frequency, is the density where time does not exist, is just a man-made reality that is created by mind. And because mind in fifth density is not present, is silent, time is not functioning as it does in the third density. So it's basically non-present. Have you had that feeling that you're talking to a dear friend or you're having a very pleasant activity, you know, like holding your son, or making love to your dear one or whatever, and you do not notice the passage of time? You can have 5 hours of that activity, and then when you look at your watch, you thought it was half an hour. Did that happen to you?
Yes.
Yes. So that's when your mind is silent, you're very peaceful, you're very contented, and time eludes you. It does not elude you actually, it's actually non-existent in that reality. So that's where we are right now, and that's why you'll see me maybe saying that I'm in 2050 or something. So just try to be kind. And we all came here on this planet at this specific moment to be able to bring and stabilize that frequency on Earth and to remind our brothers and sisters of that possibility. That's why we came. And that's what we're doing, not necessarily with a certain practice, but sometimes and most times just with presence. The generation that we were born after 1980, we had that frequency set on us like a code, that whenever we pass through a gathering, in a supermarket, in an airport, or wherever you are, you're just emanating out that frequency, that 5D density rainbow frequency that really sets a new feeling into the ones around you, like a reminder, like a seed of infinity that then grows until they're ready, and then they start searching, and then they start practicing, and then they start developing their own abilities. So we have that in us, in ourselves, in our DNA, most of us. And also the older ones that are practitioners for a long time can do the same. So this era is not so much about doing, it's more about being, and about being present, and about being in alignment, and about being open to source circulating through you as a device or as a transceiver. So that when you're in a place like this one, yeah, you're setting up a frequency that really cleans and enhances everything up to a higher vibration without you doing much, just by your natural emanation of love and presence and whatever you are. Do you believe this is possible? More or less, we'll see the next days if it is. But one thing that happens with pranic gatherings is that whenever we come into a place, and especially places like this that are very high energy, we have a great pyramid here next to us, which is an energy generator. How many of you know about the pyramids and what they are and why they are? Yes, we will explain about that. So pyramids are basically energy generators. They have been megalithic constructions brought on Earth by advanced civilization to be able to transceive energy. In many civilizations that I know of, on parallel planetary realms, I would call them, each important specific place has such an energy generator, either in a pyramid shape or in a tower shape. Yes, like a crystal with a straight end. And they all use it for, I know, two reasons, they might be more. Energy transmission, so they connect cosmic energy to earth energy and that transceives and powers up the whole area. And two, communication. So they store a lot of information and then transmit a lot of information from source, from higher civilizations, and from whatever history there was in that place. So in any realm that I've been through, because I've traveled a lot in other realms, they have these devices. And some of them were also built on Earth. So we started in Egypt, we started in areas like Romania, the place I live in. We did it in Elora and Ajanta, where we're actually going to go after this gathering. We did it in many, many other places where energy vortexes are, where energy doors through higher frequency realms exist. And we build those construction in these areas, and I say we because I'm a part of this, because we wanted to set reminders for the civilizations to come, like this one now, that there is a higher possibility to generate energy, and that your body can do the same. So every pyramid and every megalithic construction on this planet has been built with that purpose specifically, and also to be an activator for the area. One of my jobs is to go and reactivate these constructions and these vortexes to enhance them and make them more powerful or clean them if necessary. So that is why I just came from the Sphinx of Romania that I'm happening to live next to. I went through the pyramids in Egypt 3 times, and I came to this pyramid. And this is a pyramid that I'm working with for many years, since earlier than 2017, I think. And that I'm constantly connected to all the energy portals in the world, like Egypt and Turkey and Romania and Greece and Medjugorje and many other places that are very powerful. So it's a constant web of energy places that are generating and maintaining a certain frequency on Earth that is helping us all evolve. And this is one of the places that is part of that grid. And every time we gather in such a place, yes, we'll soon get back to you. Every time we gather in such a place, we enhance it and we help it. We power it up and we set new frequencies into it that is helping humanity wake up, be more energized, be nourished, be helped to evolve. Each pranic gathering that we did across the planet, wherever we were, created a big vortex in the planetary grid, which is like a matrix around the planet, like a code of energy, you could call it, that has then generated back energy into other places that is connected to that place, and that has woken up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And that's the easiest way to do it. Just set the frequency, get it done, let the magic do its work, you don't have to think about it. It's very simple, also high advanced technology to work with. So in that respect, thank you all for being here and being a part of this and contributing to this, because each one of you is doing this job, actually. And it's adding some of your wisdom, some of your power, and some of your knowledge and energy to this grid. And this is why we've very carefully selected the people in this gathering. You are not being brought here by chance. And many who wanted to come just couldn't make it because of that. And I'm really grateful for your presence. Can somebody tell me the time? 15 to 4. So we have until 4:30. Okay. Well, you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you find any difference between the different places pyramid energy? Do you find any difference?
Yes. Yes, they are different. So this one here is constructed in the parameters of the pyramid in Giza, the same coordinates. Yeah. And it's powerful. And you can feel when you go up there that the energy actually spins through you. Like sometimes I find myself actually doing this. And, yes, in this one, yeah. And if you sit and you're leaning against something and your legs are relaxed, you can feel your legs spinning, which is even weirder. And each one of us, after we finish the gathering here at 9, and then also in the morning at 8:30, we'll go meditate in the pyramid. So we meditate in the pyramid before the gathering and at the end of the gathering. So we set the frequencies there and we enhance our own frequencies. Yeah. And going back to your question, the energy here is powerful, of course. But if you go to Egypt, which is the original building, I would say there the energy is more settled. It's more subtle also. So some can feel it, some cannot. But it's like a wave that runs through you even if you're miles away. So being in the sarcophagus or being out a few kilometers away, 2 kilometers away like my hotel was, you can still feel the power going through you. And it stills your mind and it regulates your whole body functions. And it gives you, I was constantly receiving data in like letter shape, like these letters that you see on the papyruses, that was constantly flowing in through my system. And so they are different just because those are more ancient and they had more knowledge stored into them. And the database and the way they are structured and everything is much, much more powerful. So they are dated 26,000 years old. That's what I received lately. It might be or may not be fully correct. Maybe you have other information. I'm not holding on to that very strictly. Just it's what I, it might be even older from what I would believe. So let's say 26,000 year old of knowledge and energy and information flowing through it. It must be different than this one. But it's still great that we have these places in India though. And that pyramid, when we talk about the pranic portals in the next few days, I'm going to explain more about how it was built, about its structure, about its correspondence to our chakras also, and to our energy bodies, and the information that is stored there. And we have one in Romania that is hidden in a mountain that you can't really tell as a pyramid, but it is. And there's others across the planet that are connected. So each one has a specific frequency, holding a specific energy, made for a specific purpose, with a specific information in it. And it's interesting to just work with them and see what they really are. Yeah. So if you have questions so far, I could take like 15 minutes of questions and then we go to the logistics part. And then at 4:30 we take a break. And at 5 we come back here for the online conference of Tianyin, Chiku Master from China that is now living in Berlin. That she's going to tell us more stories about heart centering. And she's going to actually do a meditation with us in that frequency. She's a very high frequency being. She's been nourished by prana since '93. She's been working with Qigong for many, many years back to heal some illnesses. And by working with Qigong, she ended up not needing physical food. So you're going to see and feel her and how she transmits energy.
Do you feel that these pyramids have been established, as I said, like 26,000 years or 10,000 years back or 5,000 years back or 100 years back?
Yeah.
These are the resources which carry the data which is traveling in the universe?
Absolutely, yeah.
the olden time, the more olden time, or
Yes.
since this art has been exist. So they carry the data and it fluctuates on the body
Yeah.
frequencies. Who can catch these data?
Yes, everyone is imprinted with that data if you go there or if you connect to it. Whether you perceive it or not, it's still going through your
Yeah,
system.
but how to realize that connection?
Well, it's refined permanently by meditation usually and other practices.
As you said that you can see the data when you took images away from the pyramid.
Yes, you can see it flowing through you, but sometimes you understand it, sometimes not. I must admit that until now I haven't comprehended the meaning of it because I'm still, running around. I went from there to here and started organizing this, and I'm still in some kind of a busy mindset at the moment, as opposed to my traditional rhythm, which is mostly in silence and mostly in meditation. Here I'm very, very differently operating. I talk to people all the time, I organize, so I didn't have the time to just be very still and really run it through me and comprehend. And sometimes it takes months or years until you fully comprehend everything because it's not meant to be at this specific moment. You just download it, encompass it, and then whenever is needed, it comes up for you. And then you know that you know, but you don't know how you know. But in fact, if you've been imprinted with it while being at such a portal. And that's why I take people all over the world and we go to these energy vortexes or special places together. Because each one is having a specific role in that specific place. And they're there to bring data and to receive data also from these places. Because we've all been in Lemuria, we've all been in Atlantis, we've all been in high ancient civilization of the Hindu traditions also, and we have so much knowledge and wisdom that we carry, that we need to bring to these places, and we have so much to remember that help us evolve to the next stage of our evolution.
For instance, Christiana would like to know or understand the thing as a layman.
Yeah.
That despite like there's a man, he said, or we have studied that sound always travels.
Yeah.
In the universe. It
Yeah.
never ends.
It never stops, it never ceases. Yeah, it's a permanent concept.
There are few people in this world who exist on the earth. I have met them. They said, I can hear the voice of Lord Krishna and Arjuna coming through my ears.
Sure.
Right.
Yes.
So he might have developed his own satellite of energies.
Exactly.
In a
Yeah.
different way. Everybody might.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear voices too, but not in a institutionalized way.
Yeah. Sometimes your inner voice even talks to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are situations when somebody talks to you.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just hear a sound, like a very subtle sound.
Yeah.
That is fine-tuning your.
Many kinds of experiences that I have been through.
Sure.
So are we talking about that kind of stuff which comes in a different way?
Yes, it can come on many different ways, either through sound and clairaudience that you're referring to, or by clairvoyance, or by claircognizance, when you know that you know, but you don't know how you know it.
It's just like you understand English,
Yeah.
understand English, so you get the things.
In the way you're understanding. And there are people on this planet that they think that if they're not clairvoyants, then they're not sensitive. But it's not true. You could have a very high empathic and clairsentient ability, or you could have a clairauditory ability, or you could have other abilities like people who see through their palms, for example, which I don't know how it's called, but it's and that's your gift. That's your superpower. It doesn't mean that if you don't have clairvoyance, you have nothing. So we'll talk about this in the next few days. But just to clarify that we all have some type of sensitivity. And now I'm going to just go back into stillness for a few moments and invite you to a brief meditation before we get into the logistics part. Yes? So I hope I can get to my sound here. I invite you to go back into stillness again and into your breath. And tune into the music. And for some moments, just start following your breath and be with yourself. We all feel that we're in a light column from the center of the universe to the center of the earth. Each one in his own light column, each one in his own energy, the perfect energy for each one of us, fine-tuning our systems, preparing us for the days to come, enhancing us for this gathering and what we're going to meet here, empowering us to be able to feel, see, and transmit the energies that we're going to work with. All of this is coming through this light column into your bodies now. And we're starting to breathe this energy from this light column into our systems. With deep breath in, we allow it to flow into our lungs, into our bodies, into our physical systems. With deep breath out, we allow all the worries, thought forms, all the concerns, everything that doesn't serve us to be released in this column of light around us. We take a deep breath in again, and we're imagining, visualize, or sense this energy flowing through our systems. And with the breath out, we release again the tensions in our bodies, the thought forms, the concerns, any discontentment or idea that is nagging. We release it into this light column and allow it to be transmuted in the most appropriate energy, the most appropriate beneficial flow for us now. We take another deep breath in. We center deeper and deeper into our heart chakras. Visualizing, sensing, or feeling the sphere of light in our heart chakras growing brighter and brighter with every breath. We feel, sense, or imagine the center of our chest being filled with light, filled with power, filled with energy. And we are aware that we have a connection cable from the center of the universe, from the heart of God, from the heart of the central sun, coming down through the galactic sun, down into the sun of our crown chakra, and down into the sun of our hearts, into the center of our chest. This connection cable is fueling us with energy with every breath, filling our heart chakra with the most appropriate nourishment for each one of us now. With each deep breath in, we allow this nourishment, this energy, this supportive power from the heart of the central sun to fill the center of our chest. With each deep breath out, we radiate out this energy from the center of our heart into the cells of our body, into our physical systems, circulatory system, muscular system, endocrine system. lymphatic system, bone system, and all the systems in your body. Then out into the auric field, you radiate it out with the exhale, and then out into the universe. Deep breath in again, letting your heart chakra shine with this energy, this nourishment, this supportive power that comes from the heart of the central sun into our hearts. Deep breath out, allowing this energy to flow again. All the way through your chakra system, endocrine system, circulatory system, bone and muscle systems, nervous system, skin system, all your internal organs. Then out into your auric field through all your bodies, the emotional body, the mental body, all the other layers of your being, vaster and vaster, going out into the universe. Deep breath in again. You let this energy flow through all your body, all the way down into your lower chakras as well, opening and connecting to the solar plexus chakra, sacral and base, and all the way down through your feet, through the soles of the feet, flowing down into Mother Earth's heart. We grow roots towards the center of the earth like a big tree, rooting down this energy that comes down through your heart sun into the earth sun, coming down from the central sun. You allow these three suns to connect as you align deeper to your transceiver mode. This energy coming down from the central sun to your heart sun and down into the earth through your roots. Connecting you to the heart of Gaia, rooting down your presence into the depth of the heart of your Mother Earth. Connecting your divine self with your physical self and with your earth planetary system. Downloading all your information into the earth heart. Allowing the information of the heart of Gaia to flow up to you like a love greeting to the soles of your feet, to the ankles, up to the knees, the calves, the thighs, flowing up to your perineum and waist area, flowing up to the base of the spine, this energy from the heart of Gaia, flowing up through the spine to your heart chakra, feeling it open up with this new yin energy. Deep breath up, you allow it to flow to the base of the skull, opening the area there. Deep breath up to the top of your head, it opens the top of your head with the energy of the earth chakra. Flowing up through your whole body, filling your whole body with the Mother Earth energy. reconnecting you back to your elements of your physical structure and all the structures that you're made of, filling your all systems. And when your body is full, it springs out through the top of your head, forming a toroidal system around you, a spherical device around you. That is surrounding your body, shielding it, protecting it, nourishing it, supporting it with the supportive energy from the heart of Gaia that will reflect out all negative thoughts, all negativity, pollution, Wi-Fi, whatever it is that doesn't serve you. Only allowing the energies that are beneficial for you to stay in and come into your system. You are in both these vehicles. The energy from the universe coming down through your column around you, and the energy of the earth coming up through the soles of your feet, forming a sphere around you. You're both in this yang and yin vehicles that mix up in your heart, forming the best yin yang balance for you now that radiates out from your heart out into the world. And with this heart radiation, like rays of light, we connect to each other, sending rays of light to each one of us now, connecting heart to heart, divine self to divine self, communicating divine self to divine self, communing divine self to divine self through these rays that emit out from our hearts to all the others' hearts in this world. We allow this energy to flow out and connect to everyone in this facility, sending love to the staff here, to the people who are helping, to the participants who are and speakers who are still to come. Sending love to the people who watch online, who are going to join online as well, and to the families and friends that are with us in spirit. Then we check and connect to the pyramid energy here. Maybe sending love from our heart chakra to the king's chamber of this pyramid. Maybe receiving a message back from them, feeling the energy there and how it's calling us to join each morning and evening and whenever we have time to recharge, recalibrate, also set a new frequency in the area. Then we expand even further, sending love to all the other pyramids in this planetary system. The pyramids in Egypt, in Giza, the pyramids in Turkey, the ones in Greece, the ones in Romania, and many others that are around the world. And those of you who have this ability, you can scan through them, gathering information and planting give wisdom into them. We connect into the other energy vortices that you know of, letting the information here to go into them and receive back information from them into this energy vortex. We can see or sense about this gathering forming an energy field, an energy matrix, like a mandala of the wisdom. us presently have, and all of those still to come into this gathering that are adding to this matrix already, like we have been adding to these matrices for the last months, constantly fueling it, constantly working with each other. We feel how we are all connected. We feel how we are all part of this one system of wisdom and knowledge and power that is empowering us all. We feel and sense and acknowledge how we are here to support each other and build a new frequency for the planet. All of us here, the staff, the children, even the pets around us are part of this nourishment support system and are all contributing to this for now and for the times to come. This is the beginning of a new era that's going to shift us all into a new, more evolved consciousness, into a new, more evolved way of operating for the benefit of all and the benefit of humanity. We send greetings to all the beings of light that have joined us in order to join us. We ask that in this grid, only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us. Only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now and from now on. Only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now and from now on. And we give thanks for this gathering. We come back fully present into our bodies, like a hand within a glove. The energy body is present in our physical body now. We are present in our bodies from the toes to the soles of the feet. Present in the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs. We're fully present in our hips. Fully present in our lower back, abdomen, upper back, chest. Fully present in our arms. We're re-inhabiting our bodies, fully present in our necks, faces, heads, top of the head. We're fully present here. Like a hand within a glove, the energy system is fully inhabiting our physical system and through it emanating out. Back into your bodysuit with all the wisdom you have gathered in the meditation, and we give thanks. We came back with our intention into our room. And we ask that we are fully guided and protected and supported for these days and the days to come into this gathering. Namaste everyone, and thank you for joining this meditation. Good to be together in this gathering. We will continue at 5 o'clock with the love meditation guided by Tiani online. Those of you who are online and watching, you have a link below the description of the video that you're watching. And in that link, you can join for the full festival to watch online and participate with us and ask questions and place comments and interact with us. And you can use that link to subscribe to this full participation, and you can also come live in the days to come because more and more masters will be joining us. So if you're in India or anywhere you can fly from, just be here with us. Just check that link and see how you can join us. Those of you who are in the gathering and haven't joined for the full program yet, you can still subscribe online or live for the next days. We have 5 more days of this. And you are invited. And you are also invited to look at the trip that is following this gathering, where we're going to powerful megalithic constructions in Ellora and Ajanta for a great initiative journey with many live beings participating and some of the speakers here as well. That is going to enhance even more the work we're doing here. It's called the Trip of the Sun, and you'll find the link on it on the festival's page and on Facebook also if you type Trip of the Sun, so that you can all join us. So before we close this session with me, I was telling you that I'm gonna share some logistic stuff. It can be boring, but it's useful. So we are here in an ashram center, and like any ashram, it requires us to be well aligned, which I trust you all are. It requires us to be mindful of our behavior and our emanation. Not only our action counts, but also our thoughts and emotions, what we send out. Those of you who still have discontentments or impatience, come talk to me, but also try to work with yourself and see where it comes from. As you are in heaven here and you are having heavenly people around us. So it might be just a passing phase that you want to go through. But of course, feel free to talk with me about anything that you need or want. And we'll see how we can accommodate that. You also have the beautiful staff in Romanian Valley here to help us. So with things regarding accommodation or meals, you can relate directly to them. Most of you have booked a no meal plan. So if you need juices or anything else, there's a cafe across the pyramid. You go on the bridge and then towards the cafe. And you can order whatever it is that you're needing, either juices or food. It will be ready in about 15 to 20 minutes. So just be mindful to order it in time to be present at the activities here if you want to. In the evening, the last order is to be given at 6:30. So during your last break, basically. And you give the order, you can be there for half an hour and eat or drink whatever you need, and then be back here for the last session of the evening, which is usually at 7. Some days are continuing until 10, so just look in the schedule and see who is and what hour, and in the description of the speakers that Sarah will give you, you have the details of each speaker that is in the program so that you know who is going to speak and what is going to speak about. Yes? And if you don't feel to join a session, it's all fine because you'll get the information anyway. It's in the system, it's in the grid. Also, there's an online participation possibility. So if you have friends or relatives at home, as I was saying, you can transmit the link to them and they can subscribe for the online so that they can watch alongside with us and also interact with us. Also, I have to say, I'm sure you know, but I have to say that this is a no smoking, no drug, no alcohol facility. So I'm sure you're not using that, but in case, I'm just telling you that we have to be mindful about the emanations that they want to preserve here. So if you have one of these habits, just postpone it for after these 6 days. because here is not much loud. It's like a detox time for each one of us. After we finish the activities here, it's likely that we go into silence to be able to integrate what we've been discussing and practicing. So during nighttime, try to be mindful about the colleagues around you and not make too much noise. I'm sure you're already trained for that, but I have to say all that I've downloaded for this gathering. In the morning at 8 or 8:30 p.m., and in the evening after the closing session, we go meditate in the pyramid. We enhance the energies of our bodies, and we also set the frequency there for the times to come. So each morning, if you want to join us, we'll be there at around 8:30. I might not be there each morning, but you're invited to still go. It's very beneficial for your whole system. It's very healing, very energizing, and very much enhancing. And even if you feel pressure in certain areas of your body, like some people have been reporting pressure around their heads or some other things, just know that there are things recalibrating in your system, and it's not a bad thing. If you feel challenged, you can get out, of course, but it's just things that are coming out, and it's good to be there. And when in pyramid, be very silent. It's a very high-end meditation place. You have a schedule that we've presented because all the speakers are breatharians and we're all operating in a very flexible way and in a very high-tuned way. The program might change from even 1 minute to another, like it has twice until now. So some people are booking other flights, some people are booking other hours. Just know that things might change and try to be kind about it. It's not something we can control or are intending to control even. And it's all gonna flow into the perfect way for each one of us. Usually, most of the speakers make it, but some are really living off the grid in remote areas like caves or the bushes of Amazon or whatever. And they may or may not have the possibility to join us as they're promised. But I'm sure they're still connected with us, and I'm pretty sure most of them will be present in this gathering as scheduled. Just know that this is a situation that has been happening in all festivals before, and try not to get upset because we're all getting the right information in the right rhythm at the right time, always. So it's all perfect already. So before trying to be a breatharian, we're aiming at being a flexitarian, that is going with the flow and being as much flexible as possible. We have also tried to provide the best systems here and the best logistics that are necessary for this gathering. But just know that everything is subjected to random situations, and should something be interrupted or whatever, just go back into your heart, go back into your breath, and wait until the situation is calibrated. We've tried to be outside, that's why we didn't choose the pyramid or another conference room that has walls, because all of us are living through connecting to the elements, and it's better to be in an open space. Being in an open space can be a little challenging because, electronics can be challenged sometimes or whatever, but I'm trusting that everything will flow. That's why I took the courage to take this room in particular, to allow us access to the outside elements as much as possible, for us to be in open air. We'll feel much more energized and much better than being in a closed structure of concrete. Yes? Because we're tending to be a big gathering, big for the kitchen there. If you need meals, how many people here need meals? Need to eat? How many people need? Hands up higher so that we see you. You are not eating? You are eating and Father is eating, right? And your friend maybe?
Yes, she runs.
Okay, because if more than 5 or 6 or 10 people are needing to eat and you're all wanting to eat at the cafeteria, it's best that we announce them one day in advance so they can, you know, I'm just saying for everyone, even if you need just juices, you know, because you can order natural juices there, we have to announce them one day in advance to prepare the fruits or the ingredients for whatever we might need. So those of you who are taking juices, hands up. Nobody taking juices, none of the days. Okay? Well, yes, if you're taking juices, just make sure you're announcing one day in advance, or you're telling me so that I can put you on a paper and tell them each day, we have 10 people here for juices, we have 20 or however it is. So that they are prepared. Because we're in the middle of nowhere really, and the nearest store is like kilometers and kilometers away. And that's why they need to make supplies. So they've asked me to transmit that to you. That's about all for now. If you have any questions or anything that you might need, feel free to ask. How much till 4:30? Is already 4?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. Any questions? Requirements? Suggestions? Everybody happy? How is your meditation? Good. Anyone wants to share what you felt in meditation? Or share anything? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I have a question.
Yes, please.
It feels to me that in Europe, a lot of people they're starting to be curious about manipulation and
Yes.
ask questions. They read some books about it. But here in this country, this is the country of the meditation, the country of the yoga, and this is part of this culture for several thousand years. And I'm surprised that actually there is no schools or not more, I would say, places where we can share this.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if it has been placed as, okay, he's a yogi, he has dedicated 30 years of his life to live in the caves, and therefore it's not for everybody, or is it just part of one path and the people are taking other path?
Thank you so much for bringing this up. It's a very important topic. I was going to share about it. Just give me a second and I'll be back to you. I have to confess that for me, it has been very difficult to organize this gathering. Like really, really difficult. It doesn't seem difficult because it seems like simple logistics and all. But energetically, it has been a turmoil. I was also thinking that in the land of Buddha and the land of Krishna and the land of Rama, this is old school knowledge and everybody is open to it. I was surprised to see that even after months and months of communicating here, people are still not aware, even to the day I arrived, that this is a gathering about people who are not taking food. They all thought it's about pranic healing or the ability to transmit energy to heal. So, see that? So I coughed and coughed and coughed it out for weeks before arriving because it was just not flowing and not integrating into the field. Even though we've worked with it for many years and Jasmine has been here for years and years holding conferences. So I'm starting. So for my system, it has been really difficult to bring this in with all the support I've had still. I don't know why yet. So much resistance. It's a great vegetarian country. It's a great meditative country. Very connected to prayer. I have so much respect for the sages and the meditators here. But when it comes to pranic nourishment, it's been very, very, very hard. Like the energy we were bringing in was hitting the wall, hitting back at us, hitting the wall, hitting back at us constantly. And it's still doing that to some extent. Yes, we have books. My books have been in the library here for 2 years, and Just William's books have been for many, many years here. And they're still available there if you want to get deeper into this knowledge for the next days to come, or take this at home. And yes, there have been conferences as well, but everything has been a very, very high wall of resistance. I'm trusting that now this wave is starting to dissolve and we're starting to bring and land this knowledge into this field. The main reason that I'm now getting that could be an answer for this is that in this tradition, we've been taught, in the yogic tradition, we've been taught to disregard the body to a very high extent and transcend it, discard it, leave it as soon as possible, will be liberated with the highest pace when the body is left. But in pranic nourishment, the body is the main tool, actually. And that's the knowledge that people are to encompass in the days to come, to really respect and cherish and honor their incarnated state before aspiring to a formless state. And you can be formless in form. Like this body can do amazing things. It has the ability to dematerialize and rematerialize, and this has happened to me and many others. It has the ability to shapeshift, and Olga Podorovskaya in her talk about bending reality will tell you about it. It has the ability to duplicate, replicate, transceive energy to very high distances, far distances. It's an amazing device. Actually, I'm telling everyone, if you have the best starship with telepathic abilities, instant healing abilities, remote viewing, remote healing, and palm reading at long distance abilities, if you had the starship, how would you treat it? And how would you look at it? And what would you do with it? Would you give it the best fuel and the best care and the best polish and the best garage? Or would you just throw it somewhere in the streets, putting the worst gas in it, scratching it whenever you can, and looking forward to get rid of it as soon as possible? What would you do? Any answers?
The first one was taken.
Yeah. So you have the starship. It's your body. It is actually a starship because we are traveling through astral realms with it. And it's made of stardust as well. And it has all the abilities that I've enumerated and more. So we're bringing a new paradigm that is going to be settled sooner or later, better sooner than later, into this land. And until then, you have a lot of information. You can search my YouTube. You can search the website where there's a gazillion of articles. Each one of the speakers here have great information on their websites and their pages. They have great books. They will tell you about them. There's my books here. Gabrielle has books. Eliton has written books. Jasmine has tens of books written. You have a lot of information that you can take in to be able to encompass this reality, and you'll have also a lot of talks about it here. But yes, it has been hard. And another thing that has been difficult, and I'm gonna just complain about it, is that people have not understood fully that this type of gatherings needs support. It doesn't need bragging for more facilities. It doesn't need negotiating for more discounts, more free entrances, more free people coming in. It doesn't need suspicion for financial or other types of energy exchanges. It just doesn't need that. It needs support. We need to support each other. Otherwise, we cannot do these things. We cannot come from miles and miles away, spending hours and hours in metal boxes and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars for it, just to be here and bring such a thing. Not to mention the energy that we put in. So we don't need that. We need support. So even those of you watching online that haven't come yet, you can support that with donations, with sending love, with sending everything you want to be supportive of this. Because we're creating a new paradigm, but we're not doing it by ourselves. We need you and all of those here and all of those participating. And it's a time, like Pascal said, for joint participation and joint support, and for supporting each other. And we're no longer a great entity in our great bubbles. We are a group consciousness now. So we're all doing it together. And we have always done this all together, just we didn't remember it yet. And the first vision I had when I created the first online summit with people that are nourished by prana, that is still ongoing. It's called the PRANIC Consciousness Summit. If you type online, you can find it. The first vision I had was of us all as very high-end spiritual masters, being in the subtle planes, all greeting each other, all supporting each other, all working together, all envisioning the same vision of paradise on earth and on paradise on all realms, in a full energy of support and respect and free sharing with each other. So when I looked down here at what we're doing here, I saw everybody in his own bubble doing his own thing. True, that is how it's been in the years that has passed. Now is the time that we join hands the same way we are joining hands up there. Are you feeling this? It's time for a joint venture, and we've always been together in that. Just it's time for us to acknowledge that. So thank you all for participating. I won't be strolling any longer because we need to give time to my colleague at 5 o'clock, and we need to give you a half-an-hour break. In your schedule, you have all the breaks and all the workshops scheduled there. You have a long break at lunch that you can enjoy fully. And those of you who take food, you might take food at lunch to be able to eat in peace and have all the things going on. And then the rest of the workshops are 1 hour and a half with a half-hour break between them, 30 minutes between them. Yes. So in those 30 minutes, go to the bathroom or whatever you need to do, and then be back here if you feel it. Yes.
One thing I'd like to note about that, as we're doing this pranic nourishment, even I was not knowing. When I met you day before yesterday,
Yeah.
I still thought about that. It's a pranic healing to the energy transformation kind of thing.
Exactly like I said.
Right. So, and I was holding a workshop here on this, the out of body experiences on astral journey and yoga and meditation, complete wellness workshop. So she attended one of the sessions. So I just asked about it. So as you said that India is a land of sages, the land of holistic gurus, the land of all the gods, Krishna, Rama, and Buddha, Kabir, Lao Tse is in China. It has been introduced in a long, but a lot of scriptures is there. The scripture is there about the pranic nourishment, which right now I have come to understand about. I can give you, as you said, the support is not a support, it's, it's we all are one. We have made an app, and it is going to be worldwide famous very soon. The name of the app is Future Study Online. right? I'll be adding all of your leaders and teachers into the app as the masters, and whole of the world people will be arriving to this app. They will be directly contacting to you and getting some knowledge regarding this.
Thank you so
So I
much.
can introduce on you all people as a leader
Yeah.
on this app. We'll be creating a new page
Yes.
right now today.
Thank you
I'll
so
do
much.
that.
Wow,
And
that's
we'll
wonderful.
throw it in all 180 countries. As I can do. So more of the people in a common journal may come to know about the things which you're doing. And I hope this will be the biggest support from my heart side.
Bless you for that. Thank you for your presence.
Today only.
What's the name of the app?
The future study online. You can download right now. It's on iOS and this Android both.
Yes, say it again, please.
Future study online.
Future Study Online. So that's going to be the name of the app, or where all of us will be included.
There we are providing the yoga gurus, we are providing the meditation masters, we are
Yes.
providing astrologers, we are providing already we are putting best lawyers, we are
Sounds
providing,
great. Yeah,
we are providing
Thanks.
best educational counselors,
Mm-hmm.
we are providing the wellness teachers.
Super.
Now the pranic nourishment experts.
Thank you so much, Rishi, and thank you for being with us, and looking forward to see the page. Now I'm really going to run and prepare the next session. Feel free to stay or walk around. We'll be back here at 5, okay? I'm going to turn this off. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, blessings to all. You're applauding yourselves.
Finish.
I'm all wired. Good. One I took off, okay?
So what do we do here? Here?
Here, yeah, I will come. I will be back to you in a second. Here we go into the Zoom and we say end meeting. But just this is one who's joining online.